In the bustling city of Ebun, where life moved at a dizzying pace, food vendors lined the streets, offering tantalizing aromas and vibrant dishes. Among them stood a small food cart run by Galib, a man who had earned a notorious reputation for his unhygienic practices. Galib's cart, tucked away in a narrow alley, was a magnet for those desperate for a quick, cheap meal, but it came at a cost. Galib was a man of medium stature with graying hair and a perpetually greasy apron that had once been white. His cart, named Tasty Bites, was anything but. It was a relic from decades past, with rusted edges and wheels that creaked with every push. The signboard above the cart was faded, and its peeling paint revealed hints of a different name beneath it. Galib's tools of the trade were as questionable as his hygiene. He reused old, stained oil for frying, kept his ingredients in cracked plastic containers, and rarely, if ever, washed his hands. His fingernails were darkened with grime, and his cooking utensils were encrusted with residues of meals from days gone by. Despite the appalling conditions, Galib had a steady stream of customers. His food was cheap, and for the laborers and students who couldn't afford fancier options, it was a godsend. Many overlooked the filth, choosing to focus on the flavors that, surprisingly, weren't half bad. But not everyone was forgiving. "This man is a menace," cried Layla, a local baker who ran a shop nearby. "I've seen rats crawling under his cart. How can people eat from him?" Others echoed her concerns. Stories of upset stomachs and bouts of food poisoning were whispered among the community, but nothing was done. Galib's cart remained a fixture in the alley, and his business thrived in its peculiar way. One day, a young journalist named Sammy decided to investigate. Armed with a notebook and camera, he spent hours observing Galib's operations. What he saw was a mix of horror and fascination. Galib would start his day by collecting leftover produce from the market, most of which was either wilted or partially rotten. He would then prepare his dishes in a small kitchen attached to his home, which was no better than his cart. Flies buzzed around the open food, and the sink was perpetually clogged with murky water. When Sammy confronted Galib, asking why he didn't clean his workspace or use fresh ingredients, the man shrugged. "People don't care. They want cheap food. Cleaning takes time and money, and I have neither." The situation took a dramatic turn when a group of university students fell ill after eating at Galib's cart. Their symptoms included severe food poisoning, and one of them had to be hospitalized. This incident brought Galib under scrutiny, and the local health department was forced to act. Inspectors visited his cart and were appalled by what they found. The oil he used was years old, his storage containers were teeming with bacteria, and his water supply came from a dubious source. The cart was immediately shut down, and Galib was fined heavily. News of Galib's shutdown spread like wildfire. While some were relieved, others felt pity for the man. "He was just trying to survive," said a local vendor. "It's easy to judge, but life is hard for people like him." The incident sparked a broader discussion about food safety and the plight of street vendors. Many realized that Galib wasn't entirely to blame. Systemic issues like poverty and lack of resources played a significant role. Galib's story became a cautionary tale. The health department introduced stricter regulations for food vendors, offering workshops on hygiene and financial aid for those who needed better equipment. Community members also stepped up, forming groups to educate street vendors on maintaining cleanliness. As for Galib, he disappeared from Ebun for a while. When he returned months later, he was a changed man. His new cart was clean, his ingredients fresh, and his practices hygienic. It wasn't easy to win back customers, but over time, he regained their trust. The story of Galib, the very dirty food seller, highlights the complex interplay between survival, ethics, and public health. It serves as a reminder that while personal responsibility is crucial, addressing the root causes of such issues requires collective effort and empathy. If you'd like more details, additional characters, or specific themes explored further, let me know.